morning, everybody. Good morning. Can you come in here? You gotta stay out there. Okay. Yeah, pick one, buddy. All right. Hello. Good morning. How is everybody doing this a fine morning? Um, while you are getting settled into your practice today, for class, you can bring a blanket and a block. I always prefer having 2 blocks for myself, so maybe bringing in an extra block for yourself too. Um, and if you don't have your own blocks at home, you can use like any cans or maybe a jar of peanut butter. I saw that from one of Virginia's videos, and I thought that that was a very fun recommendation. So you can use those as blocks, books, anything really sturdy to help keep you up. Can also be a step stool, really just anything. And if you haven't taken my class before, I'm Julia. It's very nice to meet you, and it's been my lovely home. And that's my pal back here. This is Mr. Sarge. You might see him in the videos. As soon as he sees the camera out, he has to be within the vicinity of it. Awesome. And so today, what we are going to be working with is we're going to be doing a series of balance poses to get you started off for your morning. Technically, what our peak pose, our party pose, our most difficult or explorative pose, whatever you'd like to call it, for today will be a variation of a king dancer. And so what the variation is essentially going to look like is it's a balancing pose while we get a good hip opening / quad stretch in. And this is a demonstration of what it looks like. All right, so we're balancing on the one leg. So I'm going to balance on my left leg here. I'm going to bend at the right knee. And then as we bend at the right knee, we're going to take that right foot up close to our glute. And taking the right hand to grab onto the right foot, extending our left arm out and forward, and then just coming into a hip hinge here. So trying to keep the bottom leg straight as we press the back leg into our hand and bring in our left arm forward. So this is one of the simplest ways to get into this pose. As you go more in advanced with a king dancer, you'll see all sorts of crazy moves where yogis will have both of their hands back to grab their foot. We can practice that at a later time, but today we are just going to be focusing on the aspect of the balance. And since it's early in the morning, something a little easier for yourself. So with that being said, I would move your mat, if you would like, to a wall, maybe nearby, so that once we go into some of these balancing poses, if you're like, okay, I'm having a difficult time just doing it on my own, on my one leg, because there's going to be other balancing poses as well. You're more than welcome to use the wall. My wall is going to be my fitness pole back here. So at any time that I say to move to the wall, I'm going to demonstrate it on here since I have balance there. So yeah, again, if you are just joining, just bring a blanket and 2 blocks here. That's really all that we're going to be needing for the practice, and possibly moving your mat near a wall in case you would like to explore a difficult asana with some support. So I'm going to give you an extra minute or two to go ahead and grab anything that you need. Oh, every video I've been giving little shout outs to everyone around the community, and today I'm going to give a shout out to my mom. If you're watching, I miss ya, love ya, and I hope you're nice and snug at home up north. And thanks for the cup. She made me this cute cup for my birthday. It's my dog and I fishing up in Menominee River up in the UP. Good. So good morning, Mom. Now that we got everything settled here for our practice, you can then find yourself at a comfortable seated position, and you're more than welcome to bring a block with you, a blanket maybe underneath your seat, whatever comfortable means to you. And as soon as you find that comfortable seated position, just having a very minimal round to the tailbone, just very minimal. Lengthening up through the spine, bringing your shoulders up towards your ears. As you take these deep inhales in through the nose and out through the nose, allowing your breath to set the pace for today's practice. And as we're grounded here in our seated position, on our inhales, maybe finding more length within our body. So maybe allowing your spine to grow tall. Maybe the top of your chest is having a minimal lift up towards your chin, and then maybe just very slightly outwards in front of you, almost like you're trying to show a very proud and confident chest here without too much of an arc in your back. Taking one grounding deep inhale, bringing your shoulders up towards your ears, and then exhaling, rotating them back, keeping the chest lifted. You're more than welcome at your own home if you would like to provide music for yourself this morning. And just taking a few breaths here, maybe bringing the mindset of balance here. Something to start you off with the week. I think this is our second week of April now. So from here, starting to get settled in either at your house or maybe settled in at your work during this weird and busy time. Allowing yourself to take this time today to recollect and reconnect yourself. Allowing the challenges to be brought into your body when it's present, but also be compassionate with your body when it serves you the most. Over here, we're going to take our palms out to the T. And we're going to take a deep inhale, rise, bringing our arms up towards the ceiling, palms together. And as we exhale, bring our palms into the heart center. From here, you're more than welcome to set an intention for your practice today. Then after you set the intention for your practice, you can go ahead and open up your eyes and take your arms up towards the ceiling. Then as your hands are towards the ceiling, just fold in the fingers here, so interlacing the fingers and rotating the palms towards the ceiling. Chest is up towards the ceiling, palms stretch towards the ceiling, getting that good stretch into the spine, into the arms. And you can either keep your arms straight, or if you wanted to, very gently start to rock your body towards the left side. Good. Inhale, palms up towards the ceiling. And then exhale over towards the right side. Good. And then you can either find stillness back in the center, or if you wanted to, just very gently as we breathe, kind of rock side to side with your body, being nice and gentle here, rooting your knees to the ground to help keep us in place, keeping your spine nice and tall. And 2 more breaths. And then inhale, rise, bring the palms back up towards the ceiling. Good. And then exhale, release. Palms down by the hips. Good. And you go ahead and just gently press each hand into the mat to help bring the torso up side to side again. Still getting that rocking, but the hands to the ground. And very slowly start to walk your hands away from your body. So towards the sides here. Good. And then bringing the right palm flat to the ground. Inhale, rise, left arm towards the ceiling and scoop over towards the right side, getting that good lateral side bend. So maybe taking your eye gaze up towards the ceiling, taking the top up towards the back of the room, lifting up through the chest. Good. 2 more breaths here. And then inhale, rise, both arms up towards the ceiling. And then lowering your left hand and inhale, right arm goes laterally towards the left side of the room, lifting up through the chest. Rooting through the knees, eye gaze up possibly. Good. And then inhale, bringing both arms towards the ceiling. And then exhale, bringing in hands to knees and chin to chest. Inhale, bring your chest forward into cow spine, eye gaze up. And then exhale, chin to chest, cat spine. Good. And then inhale, chest forward, cow spine. And going through this repetition of sitting cat-cows for a few more moments of breath here. Good. Making sure as we go through these movements that we are keeping the shoulders away from the ears, that we're moving with our breath. If you'd like to get some shoulder or some ear rolls, I should say, at this time as you are going through your cat-cows, you're more than welcome to bring that into your practice today. And after you've achieved a few cat-cows here and some neck rolls, you can go ahead and take your arms up towards the ceiling once more. And exhale, come into a tabletop position here. So as you come into your tabletop position, we're going to go ahead and just go through a couple cat-cows just so that we can get familiar with the mat more. So pressing your hands flat to the ground, knees underneath your hips. Inhale, coming into that cow spine. The shoulders are away from the ears. Tailbone is up. Good. Then as we exhale, we're going to round through the shoulders up towards the sky. Tailbone tucked. Good. Inhale, roll through the shoulders, bring the chest forward. And exhale, round through the shoulders, chin to chest. Good. And then inhale, coming back into the cow spine to the center. And then inhale, taking your right hip to the right shoulder, a little meet in the curve. So bringing the right hip and the right shoulder to meet, eye gaze towards the right hip. All right. Inhale to the center and left hip and left shoulder to meet in the center. Eye gaze over the left hip. And if you go ahead and find yourself at this repetitive pattern going to your left and to your right side. We're just working to find more space into our side bodies and into our spine. Good. Bringing a little bit of extension and opening for our movements here today. Good. And then you can come back into the center and taking your hands just a couple inches forward here, engaging the core and coming into supported plank, pressing the top of your feet into the ground. Okay. So as your shoulders are above your wrist, engagement through the chest and in through the core here. Take your eye gaze forward. I'm going to curl the toes and exhale, come into a very active child's pose. Good, stretching out through the spine, through the ankles here. Good, and then inhale around through the shoulders, coming into that supportive plank. Engage the core here. Press your hands into the mat. Good, then exhale around through the shoulders after child's pose, keeping the toes curled. All right, and then 2 more times at your own pace, your own breath. Well, let's make it 3. Nice and active into the core, into the glutes, and really pressing your hands away into this active child's pose. Nice. And then after you have done your 3, you can go ahead and find yourself back at that tabletop position. So bringing your hands just back into neutral here. Then as you find yourself into this neutral tabletop, you want to find yourself at a straight spine here and flatten your feet to the ground. So the top of your feet. Good. And as we bring the tops of our feet to the ground, we're going to engage the core, press your feet into the ground, and we're going to inhale, lift up by your knees so that we're stretching out through the tops of our feet. We're getting some strength into our feet. The tailbone is back. The knees are about maybe 4 to 6 inches off the ground. Good. Nice strong breaths using the core. 3 more breaths. Good. As your final breath, knees to the ground. Curl the toes, active child's pose. 2 more breaths. Good. And then coming back into the tabletop position, go ahead and lift up both the feet, so knees are on the ground, and just go ahead and find some ankle rolls here. Just rolling out through the ankles and resetting the tops of our feet. And then you can go ahead and reverse the rotation here. Then after you find some of that rotation, you can go ahead and meet the top of the feet back to the mat here, nice and strong and flexed. The core is flexed as well. Shoulders are going to be above the wrists. Engage through the core, keeping the knees to the ground. 1 more breath. Then press the feet into the ground and then inhale, rise, bringing the knees up towards your chest. And if you want to challenge yourself, you could go even higher than before, making sure that you keep pressing your hands into the mat. The chest is lifted up into the spine. Wherever you're at, take 5 more breaths. Engage through the glutes, through the quads, nice and strong, feeling that warmth building in through the legs. Once you've achieved those 5 breaths, you can bring the knees back to the ground, curl the toes, active child's pose. Good. Something nice and spicy to get you started in your morning. Good. And from here, coming back into the tabletop position, lift up through the knees and go ahead and reset the ankles. Get those ankle rolls in and reversing the rotation as well. Then after you find that rotation here, we're going to come back into the tabletop position, pressing the top of the left foot to the ground, extend the right foot back, toes to the ground, and just stretching out through the ankle, through the hamstrings. Good. Pressing the hands into the mat, chest is lifted. Good. And then from here, we're going to come back into the tabletop position. Lift up through the right leg, balance tabletop. Keeping the right foot flexed while their toes pointed back or to the ground. Good. The right hip is going to rotate towards the ground here. And as we glue our right palm down, we're going to inhale, scoop the left arm forward here into this balanced tabletop position, making sure that we are keeping connection of our right hand and the top of the left foot to the ground. Good. Finding engagement in the core. 3 moves, knee to elbow. Inhale to the center, knee to elbow. And then exhale, extend. And then 2 more times, your own breath. Then from here in your balanced tabletop, you're going to go ahead and bend the right knee, and we're going to take the left hand back, grabbing onto the right foot, and inhale, press the right hand or the right foot into the left hand, lifting it through the right chest. Knee is lifted as well. Eye gaze forward. Take 2 more breaths here. And let's make it 3. Good. Inhale, balance tabletop. Good. And then coming into regular tabletop position. And you can go ahead and reset your wrists here if you want to press your wrists, the back of your hands into the mat. Or maybe if you want to clamshell them together and give them a little reset here. And then once we are finished with that side, we can go ahead and find the tabletop again, pressing the top of the right foot to the ground, extend the left leg back, toes to the ground, stretching out through the hamstrings. So find some quad engagement, hugging at the thighs, hugging the kneecap up towards the thigh here. Good. And once you get a good stretch in for your left hamstring, so you can flex with the left foot, bring the left leg up. Find that engagement through the core, bringing the right arm forward here into balanced tabletop position. Good, nice and strong with the body. Staying here for 3 breaths. And after we find this connection here for 3 breaths, we're going to take 3 knee to elbows as we inhale, knee to elbow to the center. And exhale, release. Go ahead and do it 3 more times at your own breath and your own pace. Bend at the left knee, and then take the right hand back to grab onto the left foot. As you inhale, press the left foot into your right hand, keeping your chest lifted here. Again, a good quad stretch for 3 more breaths. Good. Then inhale, balance tabletop, and then release back into tabletop, or go ahead and do some wrist therapies here if you need to. Go ahead and catch your breath. Then after we find a little bit of a reset here, as we are in this tabletop position, instead of having our feet flat, we're going to curl the toes here. And this time the tabletop, we are going to lift through the knees again and find that core engagement, that good balance here. Find that core engagement, and inhale, bring the knees up towards the chest. So it's going to be easier for us since we're not putting all that weight onto the top of the feet. So we should be able to lift a little higher here than from before. And then if you feel like your tailbone's going back, bring your shoulders above your wrists to make it more of a challenge here. 5 more breaths. You got it. And then after the 5th breath, inhale, bring the tailbone up towards the sky, stretch out through the spine. And then when you're ready, you can straighten out each leg. Go ahead and stretching out the hamstrings in your downward facing dog. Good. Pedaling out, finding any movement that feels good here. And once you get familiar with your down dog, hips are up, the quads are engaged, the kneecaps are lifted up here. chest towards the ground and between your shoulders. Good. We're going to bend the knees generously, eye gaze forward, and just take a walk to the front of the mat into your Uttanasana forward fold. And into your forward fold, we're going to spread the feet a little further than a hip length apart. We're going to engage at the quads and bring our spine towards the ground, clasping onto the elbows here, just very gently rocking side to side, softening through the spine. If you wanted to get a little knee pedal as well to get a little more momentum, you can bring that here. Helps stretch out to the hamstrings more. Helps create more of a hip hinge, because we want to hinge at the hips and not hinge at our spine when we go forward here. Good. Then as you work with softening out through the spine, waking up the legs a little more, you can then bring your feet back into hip length apart, hands to the shins, inhale, halfway lift, think cow spine. So chest is forward, tailbone is back, chest is down. Good, and then exhale, release. We're gonna bend at the knees generously and take our tailbone back. And we're gonna scoop our arms up into chair pose here. Good, lifting up through the spine and bringing the tailbone back. We wanna be able to see the tops of our feet. So if our knees are greatly above our feet, just go ahead and bring the tailbone back here. It's a great time if you need to use the wall to go ahead and be able to find that hip hinge forward. You're more than welcome to do that. Good, and then exhale, release, hip hinge to the ground. Good. And then bend the knees generously again, and then inhale and rise to chair for one breath. And then coming all the way up into high mountain, creating a back bend if you wish. Good, then palms to the heart center, exhale, release. Good. And inhale, rise, arms back up once more. And then exhale, hip hinge, hands to the ground, taking the left leg back, running lunge. Good. As we find that lift to the back thigh here, press the left hand firmly to the ground and come to a twist, right arm towards the ceiling. Good. 2 more breaths. And then exhale, release, bringing the right hand to the inside of the right foot, dropping the left foot at a warrior diagonal, and inhale, bringing the left arm towards the ceiling. So if you need to put a block here, you can place the block to the inside of your foot if you need to. And you can also use the right knee and the right tricep or possibly elbow to help keep you balanced here, pressing them into one another. And with the left arm, you can scoop the left arm down towards the front of the mat here, rooting through the left pinky toe all the way to the left pinky, eye gaze to the left hand. Good. 2 more breaths. And then release, left hand to the mat, lift up to the left ankle. Good. Replace the right hand to the outside of the right foot. And then from here, we're going to hip hinge forward, dropping the left knee to the ground, Anjaneyasana pose. Or legs, I should say. If you need to place a blanket underneath the knee, now is a good time. But from here, we're going to find that core engagement and bringing our arms forward. Inhale, rise into an Anjaneyasana pose. Good. And staying here for a couple breaths to get that good hip opening here, squaring through the hips. Good. Opening up through the chest, arms towards the ceiling. If you want more of an opener, you can take your hands behind your back and bring your arms back as we open up through the chest here. Good. Once we had a few breaths of exploration, you can go ahead and inhale, hinge forward, hands to the mat. Let's do a half split to reset the leg. Sending the right hip creases back. Right toes are pointed forward or maybe up towards the ceiling. Chest is lifted. Good. And from here, we're going to come back to that Anjaneyasana prep. Curl the left toes. And then from here, we're going to come into the Uttanasana. But how we're going to get there is we're going to inhale, scoop up the left leg towards the ceiling, and to bend it to meet the right foot. Uttanasana. Inhale, find that half lift, calf spine. Good. Exhale, forward fold. Bending the knees generously. We're going to come back into that chair position here for one breath. And then rise all the way up into the high mountain back bend if you wish. Good. The palms together and then exhale, hip hinge all the way to the mat. Taking the right leg back this time. Running lunge. Flatten through the right palm and then inhale, twist to the left. Left arm to the ceiling. Good. Keep the quads engaged. 2 more breaths. And then exhale, bringing the left hand to the inside of the left foot. Bring a block if you need it. Coming into a side angle pose. Placing the right foot, warrior diagonal. Open up your chest to the right side. Right arm towards the ceiling. And then bring the right arm down to the front of the mat. Stretching your right pinky all the way to the front of the mat. Keeping the chest lifted. Arms are open. Rooting through the right pinky toe. Good. Then exhale, release. Right hand back to the mat. Re-square the left hand outside of the left foot. And then come forward into your Anjaneyasana prep with your legs. And dropping the right knee at the diagonal here. Prop up if you need to for your knee. Engage the core, and when you're ready, we're going to come into Anjaneyasana, bringing the arms forward, engage the core, rise all the way up. Arms can either be to the ceiling, maybe the cactus arms, or maybe even behind your back. Clamshelling your hands and lifting your chest forward for an arm opening here, whatever you would like to put into your practice. 2 more breaths. All right, and once you're ready, you can release, coming back into your normal Anjaneyasana. Hip hinge forward, hands to the mat. Come into half splits, either the toes pointed forward or maybe pointed up towards the ceiling. Take these nice and gentle breaths. And then you can come back forward in your Anjaneyasana prep, lift up through the right knee. And this time, we're going to press the left foot into the ground. And inhale, rise, kick the right foot up towards the ceiling and to knee into Uttanasana, forward, forward. Forward, fold. Good. Inhale, find a cat spine here. And then exhale, or cow spine, exhale, hip hinge, forward, fold. You're going to bend the knees generously, take your arms up, inhale, rise into chair. As you're in the chair, press the palms together, and inhale, bring the left elbow to the right thigh, pressing the palms together, lifting it through the chest, bringing the tailbone down, down, down. Good. You can always open up your arms if that is easier for you as well. Good. Inhale, bring the palms together, heart center, and then twist it to the right side or to the left side, the left elbow or right elbow to the left thigh. And then open up to the arms if you would like. 2 more breaths. Good. Meet the palms back together. Inhale to the heart center. And then rising all the way up into high mountain. Good. Then exhale, release back into the chair. As we're here into chair, bringing a little bit of some heat and balance here. We're going to go ahead and come onto our toes and lift up through the ankles into this chair. So our tailbone is going to be back. Our toes are to the ground. Our heels are lifted. Engagement through the core. Engagement through the quads. If you'd like to, you can release the hands and bring them back, Silver Surfer style, to help keep you balanced here. Good. 3 more breaths. Nice and strong to your quads, to your glutes. And then keeping the ankles risen, we're going to bring our arms up towards the ceiling, into chair. And then straighten with your heels still lifted all the way up towards the sky. Palms together, release the heels. Exhale, Samasthiti. Take a breath here. And then hip hinge forward, hands to the mat. We're going to go ahead and take the left leg back again here, coming into the Anjaneyasana prep. And for this Anjaneyasana, we're going to go ahead and inhale, rise, bringing our arms up towards the ceiling. And before we did that half splits after Anjaneyasana, so we're going to do a little hip and core balance practice here. So as we are in our Anjaneyasana prep, our arms are up towards the ceiling. We're going to go ahead and scoop the arms back and then curl the left toes, then come into a half splits with our right leg, bringing the right toes up towards the ceiling. So we're on our heels here. Good. And then inhale, Anjaneyasana forward. And then exhale, half splits, arms are back, toes are up. Good. In 3 more times here. Arms up, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, half splits, toes are up, heels to the ground, arms are back. Good. And 2 more times at your own breath, your own pace. Keeping that core engaged, working out through the hips, working out through the hamstrings. And once you've done your final sets, arms up full Anjaneyasana, flip the toes and come into a back bend here. Exhale, hip hinge forward, hands to the mat. You can go ahead and bend the right knee, lunge, and then kick the left leg up all the way to Uttanasana, to the front of the mat. Find that half lift, cow spine. Good. Exhale, forward fold. Bend the knees generously, taking your arms forward into chair. Inhale, lift up through the heels, arms up towards the ceiling. Good. Then exhale, hip hinge, hands to the mat, bringing the right leg back, Anjaneyasana style, so prop up if you need to. So once you are all settled and propped up here, you can take your arms forward and inhale, rise, Anjaneyasana. And just like before, we're going to go ahead and curl the back toes this time. It might be easier for us. And from here, when we go to our half splits, we're going to inhale, bring the arms back. Half splits with the left leg. Keep the heel to the ground. Lift the toes up towards the ceiling. Chest is forward. We're going to do this 5 times. So inhale, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, hip hinge, half splits. Good. Inhale, Anjaneyasana, arms up. Exhale, arms back, left toes up. Hip hinge, and go ahead and do it for your total of 5. Good. And then once you've done your total of 5, you can find yourself back at your Anjaneyasana. Hip hinge forward, curl through the left, right. Toes, lift up through the right knee, and then inhale, right foot up towards the ceiling to meet the left. Forward fold. Good. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Bending the knees generously, taking the eye gaze forward, and then inhale, rise into your chair, and lifting through the ankles here. Good. Staying here for 3 breaths. Engage the quads, engage the glutes. Arms are up. Good, and keep the heels risen and bring your arms up all the way up towards the ceiling. And then release the heels, palms together, Samsiti. So go ahead and take your breaths. Reconnect with yourselves. Take a drink of water if you need to. Shake out through the hips. Good. Nice. And then at this time, if just in case, if you would like something to help with your balance here, you can move your mat close to a wall. Good. And from here, we're going to do some balancing practices still before we get into our King Dancer modification pose today. But now we're going to focus more on balancing up on our legs on the mat instead of onto our hands and knees. And so from here, you can go ahead and just kind of pedal out through the feet, pedal out through the knees, kind of give your legs a little bit of some movement. Good. So as you have yourself shaken out and find some movement into your knees, you can go ahead and find some stillness. If you have your blocks nearby, I would go ahead and bring your blocks. Place them towards the front of the mat here. Good. And just to get some range of motion more into our body here and into our hips, let's go ahead and practice some of that balancing onto the right leg to start. So onto the right leg, we want to place a block about a foot in front of the right foot, just coming into our Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. So from here, we're going to go ahead and find our legs into that pyramid pose position, both toes towards the front of the mat. Good. So triangle legs, but feet pointed towards the front of the mat. We're going to go ahead and place our hands onto our right thigh and find a hip hinge for the calf spine here. So almost like we're going into a pyramid pose. We're going to take the right hand to the block and then open up left arm towards the ceiling. And we're going to bring a slight bend to the right knee, flex through the right foot and straighten the left foot all the way towards the back of the room, and then re-straighten through the right leg. So Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. And we should be placing more of our energy into our feet than we are into our hands. So if you feel like your block is moving everywhere, then that means that we're not utilizing our full potential into our legs. So allowing some core engagement, flexation through both the feet, quad engagement. 2 more breaths. Nice, and then from here, we're going to very gently place the left toes to the ground. We square our hips. Good, keeping our right leg still active and the right hip up. Hands to the thigh. We're going to take our eye gaze forward and inhale, rise, bring in our left knee up towards the chest, and bring in our arms up towards the ceiling. Rooting through the big toe, the pinky toe, and the heel of our right foot. Keeping that connection going. We're going to go ahead and bring our left knee up higher towards our chest, bringing our hands to our knee. Good. And spreading our knees apart from one another, keeping the right foot nice and strong onto the mat. Gripping like a basketball with our feet. Knees up towards the chest. And then we're going to flex through the left foot and gently place our left foot on top of our right thigh. So that figure 4 shape that we saw last week. And from here, we're going to take our arms up towards the ceiling and we're going to come into a chair pose. We want to keep that left foot flexed onto the right thigh so we get that good connection here. Okay. So go ahead and sink it to the hips. Maybe the arms are up. Maybe the palms are to the heart center. And the blocks should still be in front of you here. So if you go ahead and find a hip hinge, forward fold, and if you would like, you can grab onto a block to find that hip hinge, figure 4 shape. And if you wanted to make this even more challenging for yourself, you're more than welcome to see if you can place your hands onto the mat and kind of come into a figure 4 yogi squat. And it's okay if this is a little uncomfortable for you. It's just a little challenge to see if you can get yourself at this pose. Other than that, finding that straight leg from that hip hinge. And then you could go ahead, engage the core, and inhale, rise, bringing the arms back up towards the ceiling. Good. And then palms together to the heart center. Slowly releasing the left knee. And then from here, keeping the left knee bent, we're going to go ahead and place the right hand onto the left leg and then extending our left arm to the side. So coming into a bit of a twist here. So it might help for some of us to keep this balance if you walk your right leg over onto the side of the wall. I'm using my pole, but you can bring your body to the wall and keep that good connection with the right hip. And bringing that left knee up, placing the right hand onto the knee or to the thigh, and extending the left arm to the T. So at least the wall can help keep you stable as you get this good twist here. 3 more breaths. Good. And since we're still at the wall, you could stay here if you want, or take a step out if you wanted to challenge yourself. But from here, we're going to release the knee, and still having that left knee bent in front of us. We're going to go ahead and start to take the left hand onto the left foot and bringing that knee towards the ground, coming into that King Dancer pose. So with the left hand onto our left foot, we're going to extend our right arm forward. Eye gaze is forward. We're going to engage the quad and connect our feet to the mat here. Big toe, pinky toe, and heel. We're going to inhale, hip hinge forward. At the same time we hip hinge forward, we want to actively press the left foot into the left hand so that we can stretch more into the quad, finding more of an opening into our hips, keeping the chest up. 5 breaths. Good. And that's your King Dancer variation. And you can go ahead and just slowly release. And you can just slowly release the foot and go ahead and pedal out the knees, sway your hips side to side. Not going to do anything fancy to get out of here. Whew, we just did all that work with the figure 4 and everything. Give our body some kindness here. Go ahead, shake everything out. And then if your mat is near the wall, then we're just going to face ourselves to the opposite side. So if you need the wall, your left hip is already near and prepared. So taking your blocks out in front of you here, making sure that they are all prepared if we need them. Good. We're just going to go ahead and come into a forward fold here, hands to the shins. We're going to find the inhale, halfway lift, bringing the tailbone back. Good. Exhale, forward fold. Bending the knees generously. We're going to take our arms up. Inhale, rise into chair. Into this chair, we're going to lift up our heels, engage the quads. Good. Still standing chair. Keeping the heels up, we're going to inhale, rise, straighten the body all the way up towards the ceiling. Good, and then connect our heels, palms to the heart center. We're going to go ahead and root our left leg here. We want to make sure that there is a block in about a foot in front of our left leg. Good. And so we're going to take our right leg back, pyramid position. Walk our hands down our left leg into a half pyramid. Connect our left hand to the block. Very slight bend to the left leg. Start to flex with your right foot towards the back of the room, straight up through the left leg, and open up your right arm towards the ceiling into that Ardha Chandrasana. Making sure that everything is flexed here. Good. 2 more breaths. Very lightly point your right toes to the ground. Keep it nice and light. Find that square through the hips. Eye gaze is forward. Bringing the arms up with the right knee to follow. Flex through the right foot. And then grabbing onto the right knee, hugging it more towards your chest and lifting it up towards your chest as well. Creating more space into the hips, still keeping the right foot nice and flexed. We're going to very gently connect the right foot on top of the left thigh, keeping that figure 4 shape. Good. And then inhale, bringing your arms up towards the ceiling, coming into that figure 4 chair. And you can either keep your arms up, or if you like, you can bring the palms to the heart center. Take 2 more breaths here. Good, and very slowly find a hip hinge here, straightening up through the left leg, maybe taking your hands to the blocks or a singular block if you need to. Finding this figure 4 hip hinge. If you wanted to challenge yourself and bring it deeper, you're more than welcome to take your hands to the mat and attempt a figure 4, like little Malasana squat here. I'm not going to do that this morning, but if you wanted to challenge it yourself, you can go ahead and do that. Otherwise, you can stay here in this figure 4 position. Okay, one more breath. And bringing your arms back out, straightening out the leg, and inhale, rise, coming back into that figure 4. And releasing the right foot, keeping your right knee up towards the ceiling. Good. You can go ahead and connect your left hand to the right thigh and open up your right arm to the T. So coming into a little twist here. So using the wall with your left leg if you need to. 3 more breaths. Good. And then from here, we're going to very slowly take our arms forward and then connect our right hand to our right foot. Keeping our left arm forward, we're going to find that hip hinge and pressing the right foot into the right hand, coming into that King Dancer variation. So if you need to use the wall as balance here, you're more than welcome to do that. I got a new fitness pole a couple days ago, so my whole entire body is on fire. It's almost excruciating at this point. So I'm going to take it a little gentle in this video today, but go as deep as you would like here for 3 more breaths. Good. And very gently releasing by inhale, bringing the right knee up towards the ceiling once more. And then releasing your body. Whew, feet to the ground. Go ahead and shake out the hips, pedal out through the knees. We're close to the end of our class time here. So go ahead and just find a little hip sway side to side with bending at the knees side to side or forward and back. Yeah. And just to stretch out a little more into the hamstrings. And then one more little bounce workout before we hit the ground here. I'm going to go ahead and come into a wide-legged position. So you're in this wide-legged position. Hug the kneecaps, engage the quads, hip hinge forward fold. And coming to the mat, maybe hands are pressing into the mat. Whew. Hip hinges up, maybe grabbing onto our feet here. Good. Hands to the mat, inhale, halfway lift. Bring the heels in, toes are out, and start to bend at the knees into this goddess squat. Hands onto the thighs, lifting up through the chest. And then coming into goddess arms. As you're here to goddess arms, go ahead and just kind of sway your hips side to side. Getting a little oomph into your hips, into your quads, finding a little bit of that engagement. If you wanted to go as deep as to where one leg is straightened, you can go ahead and do that as well. Stretching out through the quads, getting a good hamstring workout here. And then finding some stillness into your goddess pose, getting deep into the hips here. Just like we did with the chair position. On the right leg, we're going to inhale, lift up through the right ankle. One more breath. And release. Inhale, lift up through the left ankle. One more breath. And then we're going to release. Get a little deeper to our goddess squat. Engage the core, engage the booty a little bit. From here, we're going to inhale, come up onto both of the toes here, lifting up through the ankle. Coming into the goddess squat. 3 more breaths, you've got this. And then exhale, release, straighten up through the legs, hip hinge, forward fold. Good. And then from here, we're gonna just go ahead and bring the knees to the ground as gently as you can. Facing the front of your mat here. Good, and then start to windshield wipe the knees side to side. And then coming into a boat pose to help get us up on our spine. I'm going to bring the shoulders back, lifting up through the chest. Find some of that core engagement. Point the toes forward here. Shins parallel to the mat. I'm going to inhale, rise, bring our arms up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, bringing our arms forward into this boat pose. Good. Take a few more breaths. And from here, we're going to slowly take a deep inhale and exhale, vertebra by vertebra, making your way onto your spine. Bringing the knees into your chest to fall, arms above the head for one breath. And then you can go ahead and hug the knees in and rock side to side. Placing our feet to the ground. Tuck our right hip underneath our left. And then bring your arms out to the T and the knees over towards the right side. I gaze over the left. 5 breaths. Inhale, bring the knees up. Tucking the hips underneath the right side and then knees going over towards the left this time. I gaze over the right shoulder. After those breaths, you can bring the knees back up towards the ceiling, hug the knees in. Go ahead, do a couple more rocks here. And bending at the knees, happy baby. Just one more for the road. Taking the tailbone towards the ground, the knees are up, feet are up. Good. Rooting the tailbone towards the mat. Then place your feet together and stretch them all the way towards the front of the mat. Take a deep inhale, stretch your arms above your head. Take your one deep inhale through the nose. And then exhale through the mouth. Placing your hands wherever is comfortable here. And taking the next few moments in your Shavasana. as we lie here in Shavasana, I picked a quote that resonated with today's practice on our balance today. And this quote is by Jay Rumi from The Essential Rumi, that your hand opens and closes and opens and closes. That if it were to always be a fist or always stretched open, that you would be paralyzed. Your deepest presence is in every small contracting and expanding, the two as beautifully balanced and coordinated as a bird's wing. So then as we begin to bring our breath back into our practice here today, exploring some micro movements to reawaken our body and reaping in all of the benefits of today's practice. And once you're ready to start getting motivated and awake for the day, you can bend your knees into your chest and bring your arms above your head, getting a nice stretch, taking a deep inhale through the nose, and then exhaling through the mouth. Okay. And then you can bring your knees either to the left or right side and gently find yourself at a comfortable seated position. And once you find yourself at the seated position, you can then go ahead, one last stretch, take your arms to the sides, take a deep inhale, bringing your arms up above your head to meet palms to the center, and then exhale, release next to your heart. And you go ahead and take a bow to yourself and everybody else here that shared this space with us today. And to give yourself some gratitude as well for making your way onto the mat today. And to hope for peace and health for the rest of your day. And namaste. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for attending today's class. I hope that you really enjoyed it. And it looks like, oh, actually, never mind. It doesn't look like it's going to be a pretty day today. I didn't look at the Weather Channel, but outside is looking kind of gloom, but I hope some sunshine peeks into the sky today. So I hope everybody can enjoy their day, whether inside or outside. And again, thank you for everybody that is still working and is supplying all the resources that we have so that we can, maintain ourselves and maintain our family, and hopefully let us know what we can do to help bring that to you as well. I hope if you are one of those workers that my yoga classes or anybody else's classes on our fitness channel, whether it be for yoga, fitness, restorative work, is helping you manage during this time. Thanks, everybody. I will leave my Instagram into the comments section. So if you have any questions or would like to request anything for practice, whether it revolves around the theme or if you want some tips, just really anything that is yoga related that can be provided in the class or just one-on-one with us, I'm more than welcome to work with you on that and to have fun with it. So thanks for joining, and I hope everybody has a good rest of their day. Bye.